The night was dense over Bethany. The air carried the smell of damp earth and the oil of lamps flickering in the scattered houses. Jesus walked alone along the narrow road, his bare feet touching the dust still warm from the day. He was not returning from a triumphant sermon, not surrounded by crowds. He came from a silence he had deliberately chosen, a 3-day retreat where no one had followed him, where no word had been spoken aloud. Mary Magdalene was waiting for him, seated at the entrance of a simple house. It wasn't hers. It belonged to a friend who had offered them shelter without asking questions. She was not anxious, not impatient. She was simply present, as she always had been, with that rare ability to wait without demanding. When Jesus approached, she did not rise immediately. She only lifted her gaze and held his for an instant that seemed to carry years of silent understanding. "You came back." "Yes. I thought maybe this time you wouldn't return." "Why?" "Because you were different when you left, as if you were saying goodbye to something no one else could see." Jesus sat down beside her on the ground. There were no chairs, no prepared comfort, just the earth, the night, and each other's presence. He remained silent for a time too long to be casual. Mary did not hurry him. She had learned years earlier that Jesus did not work with quick answers. He worked with truths that needed to find their own rhythm. "Magdalene, I need to tell you something I cannot tell the others. Not yet. Perhaps never in the way I will tell you now." "Why me?" "Because you do not follow me expecting me to build a kingdom. You follow me because you understand that what I bring is not built. It is lived." She felt a strange cold in her chest. Not fear, but recognition. Something important was about to be said, something that would change everything without visibly changing anything. Jesus took a deep breath and looked up at the starry sky above them. "They think I came to found something new, a new law, a new religion, a new temple made of different stones, but stones nonetheless. Peter believes it, James too. Even John sometimes looks at me expecting me to declare some kind of divine order that will replace the Roman one. But that's not it, Magdalene, it never was." "Then what is it?" "I came to undo. I came to show that God never needed temples, never needed intermediaries, never needed anything men built to feel important. God is not where they say he is. He is not in words repeated without feeling, not in laws that protect the powerful while crushing the hungry, not in sacrifices that purchase forgiveness as if mercy had a price." Mary felt something move inside her, her understanding that did not yet have full shape but was already beginning to hurt. "Then what are you doing? Why the parables? Why the teachings? Why gather people if not to build something?" Jesus turned fully toward her. The light from the lamp inside the house illuminated only half his face, leaving the other half in shadow. "I am trying to wake people from a very ancient sleep, the sleep of believing they need permission to connect with the divine, the sleep of thinking God is far away, inaccessible, waiting to be appeased. Magdalene, God is not in heaven waiting for prayers. He is inside every person waiting to be recognized. That is dangerous, Jesus. If you say this openly, it won't just be the Romans who come after you. The priests, the Pharisees, all who built power on the idea that God needs them. I know. That's why I speak in parables. That's why I heal people and tell them not to tell. That's why I overturn tables in the temple but do not build a new one. Everything I do is to show that the sacred does not need institutions, it needs open hearts. But when you leave," and she said this without dramatic weight, only as an inevitable fact, "what will happen? Peter will want to build churches. Paul, whom you haven't even met yet, will want to create doctrines. They will turn everything I said into something I never wanted. They will make of me exactly what I came to undo. An idol, an excuse, a new prison." Jesus closed his eyes. The pain of it was visible. "I know, I always knew. But what do I do, Magdalene? Remain silent and let the world continue as it is? People need something to hold on to. They are afraid of emptiness, of not knowing, of a God who gives no clear rules and predictable punishments. If I take away the crutch, many will fall. If I leave the crutch, they will never learn to walk. So you chose the middle path. Teach enough to plant the seed, but not enough for them to turn it into dogma right away. Yes, and trust that someday, perhaps centuries later, someone will understand. Someone will read beyond the words, beyond the institutions, beyond everything they will build in my name. Someone will see that I never said to worship me. I said to do what I do, love without condition, serve without expecting return, see God in the face of the forgotten. Mary remained silent for a long time. Finally, she asked something that had been burning inside her since the conversation began. "And me? What do you want me to do with what you're telling me? I want you to remember, when they turn my words into weapons, when they use my name to exclude instead of include, when they build cathedrals while ignoring the hungry at the door, I want you to remember that I never asked for this. I want you to keep this truth like a sacred secret, not to hide it, but to protect it until the world is ready to hear it without destroying it. But they will silence me, Jesus. I already see it in Peter's eyes when I speak at gatherings. I already hear it in the whispers when I walk among the disciples. I am a woman. My words will carry no weight. They will. Not now. Perhaps not in 100 years, perhaps not in 1,000. But truth does not die, Magdalene. It only waits. And when it has been so distorted that no one recognizes it anymore, someone, somewhere, will search beyond what they were taught and will find what you kept. How can you be so sure? Because it has happened before. Every time a prophet came and said the same thing, they turned his words into religion. Buddha did not want temples. Moses did not want intermediary priests. All came to say the same impossible truth. The divine is not outside, it is within. And every time men preferred to build walls rather than look inside. But in every generation, some see, and that is enough. Jesus took Mary's hands in his. They were calloused hands, hands that worked, that served, that knew nothing of the pomp of the powerful. Listen carefully to what I am about to tell you. When I leave, and I will leave soon, not from old age but from violence, they will write stories about me. They will say I was born miraculously, that I never sinned, that I came as a being apart from humanity. They will do this because they need a distant God, a God who excuses their own inaction. If I was perfect and they are imperfect, then they do not need to try. But the truth, Magdalene, the truth you must keep is this. I came as a human to show what a human can be when he awakens to the divine within himself. I came to show that one does not need to be God's special son, because all are children of God in the same way. That is heresy, Jesus. For whom? For those who benefit from keeping people small, yes. For God? God is not offended by truth. God grieves over the lie that keeps people chained. Listen, when they turn my death into a necessary sacrifice, into payment of a cosmic debt, do not believe it. I did not come to die for anyone's sins. I came to live in a way that showed another way of living is possible. If they kill me, it will be because the world cannot bear free people, not because God needs blood. Mary felt tears burn her eyes, but she did not let them fall. So the Christianity that will come is not what you want. No, it will be a necessary distortion, perhaps, to survive the centuries, but a distortion nonetheless. They will put me in stained glass. They will pray to me instead of living as I lived. They will kill in my name, exclude in my name, accumulate wealth in my name, while I spent my life saying wealth is the greatest trap. And you, Magdalene, they will erase you. They will diminish your role, call you a prostitute when you never were, make you a footnote when you were one of the few who truly understood. Then why do it? Why continue if you know it will be distorted? Because among the thousands who distort, one sees, and that one transforms 10, and those 10 transform 100. Real change has never been immediate, Magdalene. It is slow, invisible. It happens in hearts before it happens in structures. If I plant the right seed, even if they bury it under tons of dogma, eventually it will sprout. Truth has a way of surviving. They fell silent. The night advanced. Inside the house, someone stirred but did not come out. The world kept turning, indifferent to the conversation that would change everything without visibly changing anything. Finally, Mary asked, "What do you want me to say when they ask me about you?" "Tell the truth. Say that I loved greatly, that I lived completely, that I wept with those who wept and laughed with those who laughed. Say that I grew angry at injustice, that I overturned tables when I saw exploitation, that I embraced lepers because they needed to be touched more than any sermon. Say that I never asked to be worshipped, I asked to be followed. And following does not mean repeating prayers. It means living with the courage to love in a world that prefers fear." And when they distort that, when they turn love into doctrine, you resist, silently, patiently you resist. You love when they command hate. You include when they command exclusion. You serve when they teach hierarchy. You do exactly what I do, not because I commanded it, but because you saw that it works. Because you understood that God is not in beautiful words about love. He is in the concrete act of loving without expecting return. Jesus rose slowly. Mary did too. They stood face to face, two human beings on an ordinary night that held an extraordinary truth. He embraced her, not as a master embraces a disciple, but as equal embraces equal. Thank you for understanding what I cannot shout. Thank you for keeping this when everyone will want me to be something else. They will call you crazy, heretical, blasphemous, but you will know the truth. And truth, even when silenced, has a power no institution can kill. And if I falter, if the weight is too much, then you rest, but you do not give up, because this is not about me, Magdalene. It never was. It is about what every person can become when they stop waiting for salvation from outside and begin to cultivate the divine that already lives within. I am only a reminder. You can be one too. Anyone can. They parted. Jesus began walking back toward the road. Before disappearing into the darkness, he turned one last time. The final instruction, Magdalene, do not let them turn this into religion. Turn it into life. The life walked away. Mary stood still, feeling the weight of something immense and invisible on her shoulders. She did not know how much time she would have, did not know if her words would survive, did not know if anyone someday would understand. But she knew one thing with absolute certainty. She had just received the most dangerous truth in the world, and that truth was at once simple and impossible. Jesus never came to found Christianity. He came to undo it before it even existed.